Hello everybody, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life and Barrett. And today we are doing Quilter's Vibe, and I'm combining it with Christmas in September because they both fell on the same day. So hopefully the inspiration quilt has popped up for you. Love it. Daisy chose it this month, and my plan is to work with some of the pattern papers I have in my stash that are from Christmas pattern papers from older collections, even if it was just last year's. That being said, I did a large haul of some Christmas products later, just this past couple months ago. August, yeah, that's right. So I am going to be combining them. And my hope is that I have enough patterns that I can find to color match to be able to make that fun star shape that you can see in the quilt. That's my plan. So let's get you on fast forward and see what I can come up with. I have a new layout in the fact that I've moved my camera up higher so that I'm hoping you can see more of my desk. But that being said, you might see more mess. And it might shake a little more because now it's up higher. So please bear with me as I try to find the right balance for filming. This is something I just started, so we'll see how that comes together. Let's get you on fast forward and see what I can do. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and take this wood veneer diamond, which was in my stash. So perfect, because now I don't have to do any math on how to make the right diamond. I can just use this as a template and cut. I'm going to start with the reds, and I'm going through my scraps first. And I thankfully had enough of the 3 colors I decided to use all of it from scraps and not dig into any new paper. Not that I have a problem with digging into new pattern papers, especially the Christmas ones, because I want to get through them. However, with something like this, it's nice to use up what I have so I can maybe do a different type of project with the bigger 12 by 12 sheets. So I'm going to go ahead and I find some colors that I want. I am going to pick 6 different red pattern papers, and then I was thinking I was going to have a solid red for the triangle part of that shape that you can see there in the quilt inspiration. However, in the end, I decided to use one of the other red patterns that I cut, and I'm going to just cut the diamond in half because it makes a triangle, which worked out perfectly. So you're going to watch me do the red, and then I go off camera, and I'm also going to use a green and a pink. Now I'm choosing these colors because in my mind, I'm thinking, what are colors in Christmas tree lights? And if I wanted to do a layout about Nora, if I had a pink, it would relate to it, because I wasn't exactly sure at that moment what my photo was going to be or where that part was going to go. So now I'm looking, I need to find a background for this, what I'm going to use, and I end up choosing an older piece, and I think this is one of the very first Christmas lines that Pink Fresh Studio ever put out, if I remember correctly. Pretty sure. I've hoarded this for a very, very long time. I love it. However, the deer aren't relevant. I'm not doing anything about us being anywhere where reindeer would be relevant. I knew that. So I'm just going to use my favorite acrylic paste. It's acrylic paint, but it's got a metallic to it. I love it. And I'm using it to cover up the deer because my gesso is clear, so that wouldn't do me any favors. But I'm also using it as a form of replacement of gesso. So if I choose to do any type of watercolor or mixed media, there will be some sort of a base to it. And you'll see in the end that came in handy. So I'm just going to go ahead. It takes me a little bit. I grabbed a lot on my stencil. I didn't even realize how much was on there on that palette knife. And so I just kept going until they were kind of hidden. Now, of course, they're not completely. So I'm just simply going to take these 3 shapes, and I guess I'll call them a star. And I'm going to use them to cover up the deer. So the green one's going to go on that large deer there. I'm going to have pink down in the middle, and red's going to cover up that other deer. And in the middle of each one of these stars, I'm going to add a little flare button, which is fantastic because I struggle with flare. So getting more than one is great to begin with. But the other thing is the little bit of flare that I do have in my Christmas collection, I've had for a while. So it's time to get it used up and move on, maybe get a couple new ones. I really love the ones from Scrap and Happy Studio. And there's a company in Quebec that her name just completely escaped. A Flare for Buttons, that's not it. Oh dear, she escaped my name, just completely escaped. But she makes gorgeous flare. And so I wanted to, if I get new ones, it'll be from one of those two companies. So, I don't use them a lot, but when I do, I like to really use them. So there we go. I tried to color match. So there's the present on the red. There's the word. It's in French, and it just says Noel. And that one is on the pink because it's got a bit of a pink color to it. It's red, but it's really light red. And then I put the holly on the green. So again, it color matches, which is perfect. So now I'm like, okay, perfect. I've picked my photo. I don't know if you can see it off to the left there. It is on Christmas Eve, and I got a photo of the kids next to the tree. They're not in any formal clothes or anything. They're in sweats and everything. They're not quite, we hadn't gone anywhere. But I still wanted to get that photo. They weren't quite in pajamas yet. So I really love that photo. I put it in this filter that I have, and I only ever use it for Christmas photos, and it's called Photolab, but it transforms your pictures into a painting type look, and I love it. So I've done that with this one. I did it specifically to use in December daily, but I like the way it turned out so well. I decided to go ahead and bring that forward and use it on an actual 12 by 12 scrapbook layout that would go in our family album as well. Here is where I'm going to do that little bit of mixed media. It is nothing much. It's just a little pop of color underneath each photo. Again, color matching so that the reds with the red, pinks with the pink, greens with the green. And it worked perfectly. I had this little bowl that I had used for a project just the day before. I was trying to use some circles and just dumped a little bit in there that I needed and made that work. I'll back this photo with a bit of pattern paper that's got a gray to it. The reason I chose the gray was because there's gray in that pattern paper with the trees. So I felt like that would tie it in together, even though in the end, I end up covering most of that up and you hardly can tell that there's trees there at all. It still gives it a nice tie-in. I'm also going to use this piece. Now, this is also a Pink Fresh Studio from the same collection. And I'm like 98% sure this is Pink Fresh Studio. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it is. And I'm just going to use that as an upper corner piece, a larger one. And it does have a little bit of a funny nick to it, but I wanted to get the stars on it. So I'm just going to go with it. Those little bits that happen, it doesn't really bother me. So I can see it and I do notice it, but it's not noticeable enough and it doesn't bug me enough to have to find a way to cover it up. So that little straight edge it's just going to stay there. It's fine. And I'm going to add not very much else because now there's a lot going on. It really doesn't need a whole lot. And you can't see the bottom of my layout. So I apologize about that. I've gotten a new angle. I've tried to go up a little bit and it's hard to see. But I'm going to use it's like washi paper. It's not even tape, but this I got in my very first kit from Christina ever from the Secret Not Secret Kit Club. And I have been hoarding this little bit that was left and it's just got little gold hearts on it and I love it. So I'm just going to put that down at the bottom. Just gives it a nice little sparkle. Gold is perfect for Christmas. It just works with the vibe I'm trying to give off. Gives it, again, a little bit more interest to it. So I'm going to add that and it gives me a nice base for where I'll bring in my title. And then in this photo, like I said, I use an app and it's a free app. So it has a watermark on it. And I just simply cover that up with an embellishment. So I put the word believe there, a couple little bits at the top and the word Noel. Now the word believe is going to play in because with my title, I'm going to add Santa arrives tonight because this is Christmas Eve. So I feel like that just works really well. And I'm going to use up at the top. So there's a bit of something other than just the blank kind of square corner piece, which I like. And it's totally fine all its own, but it needed just a little bit more. I'm just going to use the same alpha that I used for the word Santa and put the words ho, ho, ho. And that is going to wrap up my layout. So please make sure to head on over and check out Daisy and Sarah and Alex And everyone playing with Christmas in September will be linked below. There's a look at my finished layout. Bye, everyone.